Hello and welcome to Destiny Digits. This is the Soul Urge number 7 reading. So, your soul urge talks about what motivates you, what pushes you. This is about the story that your soul is telling you from within. Now, the beautiful thing about sevens is they already kind of live life from the inside out, very intuitive, introspective. Sevens can be considered mystics, but they're just very knowledgeable, and information is kind of what they eat, sleep, breathe, drink, right? These are people that are almost like sponges, but they are very logical. They're resourceful. Achievement is something that they prioritize. Um, First card out. Here we go. So, first one out, new moon in Gemini. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. Communication is key. All right, seven. So, on the spectrum of energy, you are analytical, and that would be just a very positive aspect of the energy that you carry, being analytical, introspective. And then the other end of that would be self-centered. So think about what people would describe you as. Obviously, you. But when you go within and when you pull away, sometimes people may not like the fact that you take space for yourself, and they may misdiagnose what's happening. All right, so next we have confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Okay. Confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Oh, we got a couple. Let's just take them all. All right, here we go. A new start is coming. New moon. All right, sevens. And then let's check out the two extra. It says, don't let pride get in your way. Full moon in Leo. And then have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon. All right, so something new is happening. Okay, that's pretty clear. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. We have look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. All right, so let's talk. Sagittarius is December. Okay, so let's talk about time frame. We'll just say from now to December. We also have Leo here. This is August. So the sign could be significant. The time frame could be significant. And then Gemini, which is June. So something new is happening, and you are being asked to pull out. Pull out meaning like pull yourself out from the actual situation or experience that you're going through, and look at the bigger picture. Look at from now to where you see things happening in 2 to 4 to 5 months from now. Throat chakra is important. We have communication is key. So what is your truth? What should you be sharing? Not only with others, but with yourself. What information are you needing to discover, but also to communicate to another? And then we have confidence is your key to success. So that's that strength card. That's knowing that you're stronger, than you were even aware of. And then we have a new start is coming. So what do you need for this new start? Well, communication, that's truth, honesty, clarity. Clarity, you need to be comfortable choosing, right? So you have to take time. Give time to self and solitude to kind of sort through thoughts. Confidence, that's conquering all those fears, those blocks that hold us back from within and that tell us we can't achieve or accomplish what it is we know we really want, And so the new start is arriving, and the way you meet it, the way you prepare for its arrival matters. And it seems like so far, these are things of the mind, which is where you dwell, sevens, right? This is your home. But it's about just shaping your mind in a very healthy way. Let's look out the soul's journey cards that have come out so far. We have death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. So let's consider, if we've already mentioned through this Moonology card, a new start is coming. And we also see death, in many ways, that's confirmation, because death is a sign of ending, but it's also a sign of new. And so you have to learn and be comfortable in whatever situations that you have gone through recently, with releasing things, allowing things to go, understanding that life is continuous. It doesn't stop or stagnate. And so when energy leaves, energy comes, right? And so when we can accept that, it allows our transitions and transformations to really take shape, in a way that's just natural and fluid, without us attempting to resist change. So we had confidence is your key to success. And guess what? Next, we have courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. And so we talked about those fears being all those little thoughts and insecurities that tell us we can't accomplish something, or why we can't, right? We're looking at all the reasons why it won't work, but that's not the space that we can live in if we're attempting to dream and to create. And so courage is like, look, yes, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it scared. It's not pretending not to be fearful. No, it's saying, yes, I am afraid, and this is what makes me feel fear. However, it makes sense for me to overcome it in this way. And then lastly, we have health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. And so a new start could be coming in your health. You could be leveling up. You could be tapping into your physical space a little differently, becoming a little more conscious of what you put into it. And I'm not only talking about food. When we say you are what you eat, we're the sum of everything that is put into our body. But that's not just food. That's what goes through our eyes, what comes in our ears, right? These are the rooms that we put our bodies in, right? All the energies in the environments, we're absorbing all of that. And so when we're talking about honoring our physical health, it's we want to watch things that settle us, right? So that's being conscious of the videos, the shows, the movies, and then thinking about the things we listen to, right? The types of people that speak to us. What does their energy do to us? Right? So it's just really thinking about our health, but not only food, but really us in every environment possible. And at the bottom of the deck, we have freedom. It says, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So that's what this is. Okay. So sevens, you right now are being pushed to take over in your own life, to do life in a way that only you know is natural for you to do. Hold on, I want to shuffle those a little more. That was a lot that came out. Okay, so now we're going to pull tarot, and then we can keep going, figure out what's going on. New starts can be make us a little uneasy, because it's a space in which we've never been before. And so when we're trying to gain clarity and stabilize ourselves, we really have nothing to go off of, because it seems like we're in unknown territory. And so your fear, fear is not a bad thing when it's within its own limits. Fear says, hey, this probably isn't safe because we haven't done this, been here, met these people, tried this thing. We don't know the outcome. Fear is like, I want you to be safe. But sometimes you have to do it afraid when you know that is what your soul is pushing you to do. Right? And so this reading is about, what are you being pushed to do from your soul? And as a 7, with your ability to analyze and take information in, but then sort it and categorize it, that's the space that you're in right now. And it's really about you strengthening your own self from the inside out. Sorry, the card's kind of... All right. So times could be a little uneasy, but you are where you are meant to be. What was will be, but it's not an indication of what's to come, What was it is what it is, right? All right, let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have Temperance. Oh, I love this card. And so Temperance is about being able to balance all aspects of self. So that's your physical self, your spiritual self, your light, your dark. It's about really collecting the energy within you. So within you could feel a little bit scattered, trying to find your bearings, and your mind is one of your greatest assets, right? Based on how you like to approach information and awareness. But in this situation, your spiritual self, your soul, it doesn't need the same tools that the mind does. And so there's a different aspect of you that's being pulled on. And sometimes the mind can't always rectify what's happening. Right. And so temperance, that's the overall energy of your tarot spread, because there's a shift, there's a change, there's an ending, and then there's a beginning. But this new start is unlike anything you've been through. And I'm not just talking about what you're going to experience in physical life, but I'm talking about the space within you is awakening and kind of elevating. And so that can be a little, you know, uncomfortable. Let's jump in. So in the center, we have 10 of Swords, and the 10 talks about an ending, right? And when you get to that 10, you know that a new journey will begin. Swords is again about the mind. So I mentioned that I feel like the space you're in is really in your mind, like making your mind get on board with what your soul already knows to be true, right? And so you could almost be there, right? And so the 10 of Swords is sometimes being at the end of a rough journey, right? Those 10 swords that we have collected, each one of them has a significant experience and moment that it gave us, right? We can attach feelings, and sometimes it could feel like a wound or trauma, like it's been a struggle. Every sword matters to us. But what are we going to do with those now that we're at the 10? Are we going to sit here and hold all 10 and just think about where we've come from? Think about standing in this space. How long are you willing to stand there before you take a step forward to the new? And I feel like that's the space we're in right now. And so what will push you forward? Confidence, perspective, courage, right? Being balanced, your truth, being able to communicate this to self first, also to others. Not allowing pride to tell you, well, what happens if you fail? What happens if it doesn't work? Being so afraid to fail that we don't even go. We don't even take the risk. We don't even take the step. So let's talk about what's surrounding that energy. So if that's the current energy we're sitting in, surrounding the 10 of Swords is the 2 of Wands and the Chariot, right? And so the Chariot talks about movement, travel. This literally could be a car. Like you could be getting a chariot in a chariot. A car could be significant. But we could talk about a change of location that's not close. We could talk about time. This is actually happening quickly. And there's no going back. And so I feel like Spirit is saying, listen, like this thing is in full swing. This thing is in full swing. Life as you knew it is not returning. It played its role, but something else is beginning, and we have to kind of be comfortable with where we were so we could get to where we're going. And so the Chariot could talk about change, travel, movement. But it's really about the momentum of how this card shows up. This card is about quick progress, quick movement ahead, right? But it is required for you to look at the bigger picture. Now think about when you're driving, on the highway. When you look out the passenger side window, everything is going by super fast. But when you look straight ahead, you can kind of take in the scenery a little better. Than if you were to try to look to your left or right and keep track of everything that you're blowing by at 70 miles per hour, And so this is about, in order to move ahead, not only do you have to look at the bigger picture, but you also have to stay focused on the outcome that you are going for. Okay? And Sagittarius, look at the bigger picture. December could matter. So think about December. Where do you see yourself in December, right? The story is much bigger than today, yesterday, tomorrow, or a week from now. So pull out so that you can see what this is, right? And we're not going to stand here. So once we gain perspective about what's really happening, what's really required, then it's easier for us to take a step. But confidence, right? Knowing that The only way I'm going to know if I can do this thing is if I try, right? You have to just confidence is about believing in yourself whether you win or fail. I just believe in the effort that I can put forth. But I know that if I put forth no effort, I'll see no outcome. So I should just take this step. And once you have that confidence, then we get to this Two of Wands, which is where we make a plan. You've accepted, you've embraced the mission, you understand what is required of you. Action is required, right? And in order to make a plan and have a vision and to really engage with what's coming now, that requires courage. Courage, it says, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence, right? So plan for your fear, allow it, embrace it. It's normal when we understand how to maintain it. But if we never work with it, if we never acknowledge it, then we can't really master it. So it's always going to be present in life, but we can understand it when we face it. So plan for your fear, but don't allow fear to stop you from planning, right? You're always going to feel how you feel, but you got to take your step to do it. All right, so that's kind of the space we're in. Now, beneath the Ten of Swords, we have the Queen of Wands. And I feel like, this is about the excitement that you possess. This is about, intuitively, that a new start is coming. You know that a new time is here, right? You, like, deep within you, you know that you possess something and it's time to throw it out there and see what happens, right? You're committed, you're dedicated. Now, surrounding this Queen of Wands, we have a Ten of Wands and the Devil. So we have another 10. And so what's beautiful about tens is that they're at the end, but the journey has been a true story to tell, right? And let me tell you, when we have these 10 of Wands and these 10 of Swords, whatever those 10 represent for you is a tool to assist someone else. You've made it. Right? And now, whatever wisdom you've collected, whatever you've learned from your experience is a tool and a resource for another. So this 10 of Wands and the Devil are surrounding this Queen of Wands. Okay. And I feel like the Queen of Wands is like your spirit self. Like that's what you feel like within, just committed and passionate, on fire, bold, unafraid. Like sometimes it's almost like you have a magic and people just don't understand how you can do what you do, but there's just something within you that lives, and it's allowing that to be the main character in life. It's allowing that to finally free itself and to be the driver in where we're coming, right? It's about freeing it. Now, surrounding the Queen of Wands, we have the Devil and the Ten of Wands. All right. So 10 of Wands is about carrying our passions. It's about like wands talk about our almost like that's like our secret stuff. Like my wand is going to behave differently than your wand. Like if we're little witches or whatever, you know what I mean? Like what I can do with mine is a reflection of the power that I possess, and yours is a reflection of your power. And so when you're carrying all these 10 wands on this journey, it's like you've collected all of this and it's time to put it down. We're at 10, there's nowhere else to go. But what are you going to do with all that you've acquired? What are you going to do with those 10 wands? That's what really matters now. Are they going to be your burden, or are they going to be your elevation? And so in your space, you want your 10 wands to give you freedom. You want them to free you, right? You don't want to carry anything that all the experience and the wisdom that you've acquired, you want to do something with it, right? And so that is what the Queen of Wands knows. It's like, I know where I've been, I know what I've got, I know what I possess, but I have to do, like, I'm not going back to where I was. It's got to feel different. It's got to look different going forward. But what do we have to overcome? The Devil. And the Devil is about, being tied to something, or thinking that we're tied or bound to something that's hard for us to overcome. This is our shadow side. This is when we begin to shadow box. So in order to live in this energy of the Queen of Wands, where we are unapologetically bold and fearless, we have to overcome something within our shadow that isn't freeing us, that isn't allowing us to believe that that truly is us in the space we live in, you know? And so this devil is tied to your health. And remember, I said health is not only what you eat, but think about your relationship with food, with drink. Think about whether you do it a lot or do it a little. It doesn't matter. Think about why you do that. Most times when we're thinking about consumption, we're thinking about all those that do it in excess. But some of us that restrict ourselves from having food or having drink, or we're just very concerned about how much we consume. Sometimes that's a fear. We're afraid of having too much, and so that's just as relevant. Having too much is just as relevant as having too little, is what I'm saying. So there's a spectrum. So it's not only about what you eat for food, but I talked about what you listen to, the music, the people, the thoughts that you feed yourself, the stories that you tell yourself. Um, and so in order to overcome this devil and to morph into this Queen of Wands full time, not just subconsciously, sometimes consciously, but in order to live in that space, you have to overcome this devil. And the way to do that is by honoring your physical vessel, because you realize that this Queen of Wands cannot thrive unless this body is healthy, right? And so in order to make the fire within me come alive and live, I have to nurture it. My body has to be in an environment in which it can live and dwell peacefully, right? And when I say it, I'm talking about that thing in you that lives, that lives, right? Um, but it has to have a home. It has to be prepared for. It has to be welcomed and accepted and nurtured, right? And so our relationship with our body sometimes can depend on how people have treated our body. If we've endured trauma, abuse, that can really mess up the way we live in our own skin. And so once we understand the importance of our vessel, and that it really is what we know it to be and not what others have forced upon us, we can love it, nurture it, grow within it. And so think about that in terms of your health and whatever the toxic connection or hold is, what's stopping you from really loving your body as you should. So let's think about where we're going. So what happens when the 10 of Swords takes the step, right? Well, above 10 of Swords, that's the space we're sitting in presently, we have the 3 of Pentacles. And this is about collaboration, communication. Pentacles obviously, is about finance, stability, security, like the tangible, requirements of just being on earth. What we need to have, the things that we acquire and see, assets, right? Human assets. But the 3 talks about joy. It talks about being fun loving and expressing. And so how can we bring joy to the world of the pentacle? How can we do both? How can we love what we do? How can we be great at what we do? How can we do what we do and allow it to become profitable? Allow it to support us, allow it to thrive, right? Well, it's by including others. It's because some tasks are, must be delegated. I talked about your 10 wands. Now that you've acquired all of this, it's like, I don't want to carry this 10, so I can almost give out some of this energy to others. I can kind of assign. And so the 3 of Pentacles is being able to work alongside others, but in a space that is really balanced. It gives me soul tribe energy, And so when Spirit says communication is key, in order to have a 3 of Pentacles where you get to love what you do and do what you love, and it can possibly give you some type of security, you have to be able to speak and express from a place of truth, right? But first you had to free yourself and accept a truth yourself. Then you have to believe it, plan for it, move with it, take a step, and then you have to use it to engage with others. And so that's the space that we're kind of moving to. Collaborating, communicating, everything that you have within you, 7, it's about pulling it out and really sharing it. And so surrounding the 3 of Pentacles, we have 2 beautiful cards, but they're 2 majors. We have the Star and the Judgment. The Devil, the Chariot were the other majors. So these are big energies right right now, but you are where you're meant to be. Surrounding the Three of Pentacles, the star, the star, I believe, comes after hardship, and so it's about hope and healing. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so the character in the card is holding on to a star with a string. And I feel there was just a reading that I recently posted. I think it was for Soul Urge 3. That could be relevant for you. But I think I was just saying, no matter what, don't let go of your star. No matter what is collapsing around you, no matter what has to go away, no matter what has to leave life, or what has to be released, it doesn't mean that you have to let go of your dream. So whatever your star represents, it's the you that exists, and you're pulling it closer. Like, you are the star. When you are living your dreams, you are the star. When you are having hope, and when you have faith in what's to come, right? The darkest night doesn't ever make you let go of your star. And so this is the rebirth. This is the renewal. Right? This is the realizing, I'm here. I know something. I've learned something. And so in order for you to continue to dream and to have faith in what's to come, temperance is required. And so that means being patient, being in harmony with where life is today, right now. Not when the star comes, not when the soul tribe comes, not when everything works, but it's about doing it right now. Right? Because that's what's going to help you get there. So finding balance in the chaos, essentially. Temperance is not an easy energy, but it's an energy that you have assistance. When I say assistance, like, you have angelic assistance, but also within you, it's what you're called to do. When you can settle your vessel, when you can understand your why, this is about your freedom. This is about something bigger. When you understand that, no matter what happens around you, you should be able to hold on to your star as best you can, right? Don't be tricked into letting it go, right? So we're hoping, we're dreaming, we're having faith. Pride's not going to get in our way. Communication is going to be our key as we move into this space where we have to blend our energies, skills, and abilities with those of others. And then after the Three of Pentacles is judgment. That's answering the call. That's saying, I know what lives within me. And I know that the time is now. I also know it's time to release it, right? And so that's what answering the call, it's acknowledgement. We have 20 for the judgment card, but that's, 2 plus 0 is 2. And 2 is about harmony. It's about cooperation. But this isn't about you cooperating with another. This is about you cooperating with your calling, your higher self. The reason for your existence. This is about you understanding that, accepting it, responding to it, and preparing to walk in it. And the judgment card aligns with death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. It's almost like an ending of self. But it's a mind identity. It's the belief of self from the past that needs to go, because we have to answer a call for what's to come, right? And so we're in this space of reflection right before we take this step, and we've got to be comfortable with releasing those swords, because sometimes our journey can convince us of false truths, falsities of who we were, or who we're not. But confidence is your key, and plan to be afraid. Just plan for it. It'll happen. But we still must answer the call. All right, sevens, I'm hoping this was helpful. Thank you so much for stopping by. Take care.